Hello, pet. I assume the staff has been treating you well in my absence. Good to hear. But why the pout? My apologies if I didn't come to you upon my return. I needed a moment to think over the battle. Playing the piano clears my head and helps me focus on one thing at a time. Have I ever told you why I chose the piano? You think since my father chose everything for me, from the places I studied to the friends I kept, that the instrument I play would have also been his choice, but no. Piano is the one thing I chose for myself. The simplistic black and white keys, the smooth vibrations of the strings. I wish I could say it was one thing or another, but I simply loved the feeling I got while playing. I could attribute my choice to my butler, Frederick. I was a lonely child, and most days he was my sole companion. I admired him in many ways. He taught me how to play the piano, fence, speak 8 different languages, and bare-knuckle box. You think the last one doesn't fit? But he was a retired Marine and an amazing boxer. I've always struggled with keeping my mind focused on one singular task. It pleased me when I found myself alone with only my thoughts and the keys. It has kept me sane on more than one occasion. Right now, I'm finding it especially difficult to concentrate while Clifford lies in bed healing from his wounds. Rhodey paces the hallways lamenting for Clifford to awaken, and Jay pensively stomps around waiting for my advice on our next move. What advice could I give? My failure already happened when I didn't see this attack coming. Perhaps Father was right all along. I had the bottle of wine, and I still couldn't stop it. Of course I'm going to retaliate against those leeches. But not yet. I've already thought of countless ways to get back at those blood-sucking bastards. But I'll need to plan thoroughly. I can't allow my anger to get the better of me. Failure will not be an option. Although I can't stand those bloody leeches, underestimating them would be foolish. They have started a war between our kind, and in doing so caused the packs to unite. They must have anticipated that would happen. And yet, they allowed it. Meaning, they are ready for us. And now we have no choice but to expeditiously learn all we can about them. I had hoped our paths would never cross again, but we now find ourselves in a precarious position. Why do I hate vampires? Your Your curiosity knows no bounds. I don't think I've ever told anyone this story. And this one's off the record, pet. When I was a wee little lad, Barbara was approached by my father with a request. The vampires are contacting them, asking for an audience. Even then, I remember feeling that it was a bad idea. But my father allowed Barbara to make the call. She had always been an alpha who admired diplomacy, even though she had a very heavy hand. Her strong presence alone would sway most people's wills. Thinking back now, I'm sure she thought she could strong-arm any vampire. Regardless, the meeting was set. And after a large dinner with the pack, the vampires arrived. I still remember their pale faces and the dark shadows they cast in their wake. They reeked of death and hubris. My werewolf instinct screamed for me to run or fight, but I only stood there shaking. Then he entered the room. His very presence felt like a boa slowly constricting around your neck. I thought the others had been frightening, but he was a completely different monster. His wicked laugh filled the air and his heavy steps drummed in my ears. I plead to every god that he wouldn't notice me and simply follow my father into Barbara's office. But to my horror, his blood-red eyes locked onto mine. Frozen in fear, my eyes widened as they met his icy gaze. He closed the distance between us and baring his fangs, he looked down at me, saying in a thick accent, "Look at this scared little puppy." I almost feel sorry for the pathetic little beast. His words stung, and in my defiance, I spat back. I may be little, but I'll show you how beastly I can be. Of course, I was scared, but I couldn't allow that wanker to intimidate me. His face fell and his tone changed from teasing to threatening. And he said, "My name is Hans, little one. Come find me when you have grown into your fangs. I'll be waiting to see what kind of beast you become." We silently glared at each other for what felt like an eternity, until my father led them all into Barbara's quarters. Barbara's meeting didn't go well. The vampires requested access to our territory, and they were firmly denied. Thinking back now, I'm sure this attack had been planned since that fated night. Vampires are patient, because all they have is time. After that encounter, I knew they would eventually be a threat to Pack Phobos. It was only a matter of time. But enough about them. They aren't my priority. Well, you're my priority, pet. Since I'm assuming you have more than enough to write your book, I'm concerned this will be the last time we speak. Don't pretend you don't want me and aren't happy to be here with me. You've had plenty of opportunities to leave my home, but you chose to stay. You could be at Clifford's bedside, nursing him back to health, or comforting Rhodey as he dramatically cries over his weaknesses as a leader. For fuck's sake. You could be with the Prince of all Alphas himself, Jay. And yet, you're here. With little old Allister. You must either be a glutton for punishment, or maybe you see something you like underneath my tough, albeit gorgeous demeanor. You're so clever. I would have thought you'd already guessed my feelings. I haven't asked you to leave, have I? Exactly. So, I will give you a choice. You can either kiss me and stay for a cup of tea, or you can walk out that door. I won't stop you or even question why. I'm a werewolf, and not the easiest person to get along with, but I promise you won't regret staying. Well, I make a pretty amazing cup of tea, Pat. Among other things. You want me to kiss you? Nah. You come here. Sit on my lap and show me how much you want me. Such a good pet. Before we go any further, just so you know, what happens after the tea is definitely off the record. I never doubted for a moment you'd choose me, pet. I'm Allister. What's not to love? Be a good darling and like this video. Also make sure you subscribe to our channel. For our adult fans who prefer mature content, please go to our Patreon at patreon.com/anagomi. Or if you want to commission an audio, you can order one from our website anagomi.com/commissions. Remember, our lovely Patreon members get a discount on commissions. You know you want to find out what happened after a cup of tea. So go on, commission it. And I'll be waiting.